Hi, welcome back. ARKNIGHTS ENDFIELD just released their biggest announcement so far during the 1.2 livestream, and surprisingly enough, it's not even about 1.2 itself, so here's everything you need to know about ARKNIGHTS ENDFIELD 1.2 and what we know so far about 1.3. Just make sure to like and subscribe and join the Discord, and let's get into it really quickly. So the biggest piece of news for ARKNIGHTS ENDFIELD 1.2 is going to be Zhuang Fangyi and the fact that she's the only new character in 1.2. She's a 6-star lightning striker, meaning she's a DPS. She'll be used with characters that inflict lightning on the enemies, but doesn't exactly need electrification as she can apply it herself. She'll be used either in place of or with Aviwenna, which should result in your lightning teams competing much more closely with other 6-star unit teams. Because she's the only new 6-star, her banner will last 35 days, but the week before it ends, a second banner will run alongside it, which will include all of Lavatane, Gilberta, Pogniknik, and Ardelia. Ardelia is there for emotional support. Literally nobody wants her. I'm 100% sure they put her in there to make people spend more if they lose the 50-50. Either way, 35 days for Zhuang Fangyi is plenty of time, especially if 1.2 also has a good amount of rewards. Speaking of which, there are a lot of events in 1.2, 5 specifically, aside from Umbral Monument and Edge Space Salvage, which should result in a good amount of oro barrels over the ones we'll be getting from the exploration. There will be 2 new maps, one focused on eliminating as much blight as possible with a new world quest, and one with a new factory outpost, which is going to mean new outpost quests, more regional limit increases, which means more gameplay and more oro barrels. The factory is also going to have more new content, as it should, and whatever patch gives us 0 new factory buildings is going to be the most dead patch in the game's history. Either way, we're also getting more quality of life optimizations, which is always great to hear, the most important of which being auto-collect buttons in Dijiang, auto-collect buttons for recycling stations, and much more widely available sanity usage permits, which is a huge point of contention between players. They've announced even more quality of life updates for future versions, including the artificing and essence etching changes everyone has been requesting, which is so peak. And finally, the biggest news for 1.2 is that other than the 1000 ore barrels mail we're all going to get, ARKNIGHTS ENDFIELD is also going to give everybody a free monthly pass, which is 6,000 oro barrels, 1200 sanity, and a lot of sanity usage permits. The actual real news is for ARKNIGHTS ENDFIELD 1.3, because before that content got announced, I was kinda very disappointed with 1.2. 1.3 will not only contain 3 new characters, those being our mad woman Mifu, finally, the male character everyone's been hyping up, and most importantly to ARKNIGHTS players, a Pheronmoot proxy. Pheronmoots are basically living gods, sort of biological deities in the ARKNIGHTS universe, and a Pheronmoot proxy is exactly what it sounds like, a Pheronmoot's avatar that it uses to exist within our real realm. A Pheronmoot proxy's existence gives ARKNIGHTS players a slight glimmer of hope that somebody like Shu would get handed to Endfield. Either way, one of these characters will also be a 5-star, most likely. I see the Pheronmoot proxy character being a 5-star and getting a new version and becoming a 6-star later on. But the even more important news for 1.3 is that we're getting contingency contract in ARKNIGHTS ENDFIELD, meaning if it's just as good as OG ARKNIGHTS' contingency contract, Endfield will have by default become the best major gacha game because it will have one of the best endgame modes in gacha gaming history. And now we're just waiting for integrated strategies. Oh, and there's also a new mode coming in 1.3 as well called Double Assault, which seems to be pretty unique from their description of it, but let's be real here, contingency contract is what we really care about. Now 1.2 itself is honestly a little bit disappointing because we were supposed to be getting brand new game modes for 1.2 itself, and it was advertised as the first major patch. Meanwhile, it's only a little larger than 1.1 and only has 1 new character, which, while that's really good for everybody's savings, is really disappointing to me at least. I think the new blue-haired lady, whose name I still don't know, would have been either perfect for a 5-star or even a 6-star. There is a lot of new content and it's definitely going to suffice for 1.2 until we get the new contingency contract mode. However, if the story doesn't deliver, it's going to overall be a very lackluster patch. Again, especially because they advertised it as major. And even though the factory content is gonna be fun, I do have a very important video addressing the current state of the factory coming up. 1.3 seems to be a lot more important than 1.2, and 1.2's content is going to have to be really special to live up to my hype. The livestream was amazing, but 1.2 itself seems to be just a step or 2 above 1.1, whereas 1.3 having contingency contract and 3 new characters, one of which is extremely important to the lore, is going to be the real major patch. And anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and join the Express Rain Discord server for a fun and lovely community to hang out with. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.